Hi there guys, and welcome back to a brand new match review here on the channel. My name is James, and today we're going to go ahead and sit down and talk to you guys about Reading's penalty shootout defeat to Colchester United. That's right, the Carabao Cup is back, and Reading have unfortunately fell at the first hurdle. That's right, a penalty shootout loss to League 2 side Colchester was Reading's fate in this year's competition. Last year we saw one of the best performances of the season when Reading defeated Millwall by 4-0 in the first round of this cup competition last year, whereas this year, for the first, 60-70 minutes, we saw arguably one of Reading's worst performances this year. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I am overly disappointed that Reading have been knocked out of this competition, because if we're being completely honest at the moment, Reading don't have the squad to be going on cup runs. Now, do I want to sit here and say that I am happy that Reading are out of the cup competition? No, because I would never wish my team a defeat, right? I mean, realistically, you're always going to want your team to win a game. But did I care that Reading were defeated in this game? Not really. And if I'm honest, I thought Colchester were probably due the win anyway. For the performance in the first half and really the first 60 minutes, I thought Colchester were miles the better side. I thought right once Reading made their substitutions, Reading probably were the better team. But look, realistically, Colchester had a real decent outing in this performance. Now, when we go off the starting 11 for Reading, we saw Kanaya Boyce-Clark starting off in goal. Kelvin Abrafa and Emmanuel Osho were the two wing-backs, while we saw Abraham Kanu and Harley Dean play as the centre-backs. In the midfield, we saw Charlie Savage, Lewis Wing and Harvey Nibbs play, while we saw Adrian Akande, Andre Garcia and Jaden Wareham as the front three. Now, the starting lineup did see a couple of shocks. I was surprised to see Nibbs and Wing starting. If I'm being honest though, I'm not surprised at the Nibbs inclusion. I thought he looked a little bit off the pace when it came into the attacking third against Birmingham, and he didn't really have a massive pre-season, so I wasn't overly shocked to see Harvey Nibbs play. He didn't feature loads in pre-season. I think he featured really just towards the back end. Lewis Wing, I was a little bit surprised to see play. He played the full 90 as well, so I was shocked to see him play. But listen, realistically, what Lewis Wing does in the midfield, he doesn't overly press for Reading. He's normally someone that can play the game at a walking pace, so seeing him play for 90 doesn't surprise me too much, but the injury risk is there. He's probably Reading's most influential player on the pitch, realistically, so I was a little bit surprised to see him play a full 90. In terms of performances on the pitch, I thought Abraham Kanu had a shocker, and it wasn't overly his fault. I thought Harley Dean, his defensive partner, really should have helped him out a little bit more. I thought the two centre-backs didn't really help each other. Harley Dean at points of the game was just giving him suicide passes, if we're being completely honest. Kanu also didn't help with his defensive work. He got a yellow card very early on. He also then nearly got his second yellow card around the 30-minute mark, which saw him be replaced by Tyler Bindon. Reading did make a couple of changes as well at half-time. We saw introductions of Ehe Bachaman and Kamara. We also saw Ben Elliott be introduced, and as well Amadou Mbenge. Like we said, once Reading played their first 11 and their more proper players, you started to see a bit of a change in terms of the match itself. But in terms of the game, Colchester did take the lead very, very early on. Tom Hopper ended up scoring from a corner. The ball came in from the man that got 2 assists for Colchester at the weekend, and I apologise because the name is escaping me right now, but he whipped the ball in and we saw Tom Hopper score. I've got it now. It's Jack Payne who also scored the second goal. That happened after half-time, a 55th minute penalty where Kelvin Abrafa ended up fouling the Colchester man. But realistically, Colchester had the better play in the first half and for the majority of the start of the second half as well. Like we said, once Reading made a couple of changes, we started to see it change. I really think the first goal saw the shift of momentum for Reading. Reading's goal did come from Charlie Savage. It was an absolute wonder strike, 25-30 yard strike in the top corner, an absolute wonder goal. Lewis Wing then equalised for Reading just 8 minutes later. He scored from a free kick from about 25 yards outside the box. So 2 goals from Reading where they've absolutely rocketed them into the back of the net. Reading really after that, I think, should have maybe scored another goal. Jaden Wareham was very close. It was a good save by goalkeeper Matt Macy. Harvey Nibbs also had a chance, which was battered away by the goalkeeper. So Reading did have their chances to win the game. Colchester, though, I'm not going to take anything away from them. Like I said, I thought it was a really impressive performance by them. Realistically, they probably should have just won the game in the 90, if we're being honest. If it weren't for 2 Reading 25-yarders, Colchester would have won the game in the 90, but they didn't. And Reading really, I think, should have came away with the win when you base it off the chances towards the end of the game. But we didn't, and it went to penalties, which saw Colchester win on penalties by 4 penalties to 2. Reading misses came from Ehebachaman and Mbenge, which sees Colchester go through into the next round of the Carabao Cup, so a big fair play to them. They will be getting a second round tie their way in a fortnight, and yeah, that's essentially the review of the game. Listen, I'm not overly bothered, I'm not overly fussed. Realistically, the more focus will be on Saturday's game against Wigan. For me, though, realistically, the key takeaways from this is that if Reading get a couple of injuries and aren't able to get any recruitment in for the rest of this transfer window, it could be a bit of a more of a difficult time for Reading. For me, I thought players like Adrian Akande, Abraham Kanu, for Emmanuel Osho all struggled today. And yeah, I think if that's the backup and that was like the professional debuts for these players playing against Colchester, I know it was not a meaningless game, but I know it was a more of a nothing game today. But look, if that's the performances and the type of performances they're going to put on, I think Reading will struggle. But look, this is all if, buts and maybes. So yeah, this is only if Reading aren't able to get the recruitment in. But look, at the end of the day, fair play to Colchester. They got the win. They're through in the hat for the next round. That's going to be it for this one today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. My name's been James, and we'll see you all again soon. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.